you at any time. And then we have the class recorded and also past classes also recorded. So you have quite a large library of videos to go through, both for this class you are part of and the previous classes you've had in the past, okay? I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now so that we can all have this discussion, and then I'll bring my screen back up, okay? All right, so I'll start by introducing myself and then the Max-Migold FM Mastercraft program, and then I will ask you to just tell us your name, your role, and the company organization you work for, okay? Paul Erubami is my name. My middle initial is Organel Chuku. I'm actually a Delta person, but because I'm detribalized, I barely talk about where I come from. I don't talk about where I come from. I don't ask people about where they come from, just to prove the point that we're Nigerians and that's enough, okay? I have been a facility manager all my career. Started out trying to be an architect. I say that with a bit of fun. But as soon as I switched to facility management, I realized that it was so much more. It was so much better for me. First, because now I follow the money. When you build facilities that are completed within a short time, the amount spent might be in billions, but within before you know what's going on, that fund is spent, and the real spending on that facility starts and continues into the life cycle of that facility. So we have FMs as the real spenders, we're the real people that spend money in the built environment. So I wanted to be there. I wanted to also do something that is practical. People that use facilities are the reasons we build. So I really wanted to experience what people go through in using facilities. Plus, I was curious about the gradation curve. I was curious about, maintenance, and how equipment wear and tear over time. And more importantly for me, I know that facilities will always need to be managed. The profession will always exist because the need will always be there and to be increasing compared to other professions in the built environment. So I wanted to be here. And I'm excited I did. I did a master's degree in industrial engineering after my first degree in architecture. I got my certified facility manager's credential, sustainability facility professional credential, the facility management professional credential. Also got chartered with the Institute of Workplace and Facility Management, which was formerly BIFM of the UK, and also RICS, the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, as a chartered facility management surveyor. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to work in some of the largest FM contracts on the African continent. I managed all of the shell-based locations for the company I worked for in the past across Warrior and Port Harcourt, which involved, massive estates, residential, industrial, airports, recreation, hotels and guest houses, office complex, and so much more across these two cities. I worked on Halliburton across West Africa for a bit, the Schlumberger NTC camp in Port Harcourt for a bit. I worked for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, managing facilities across the country, top grade facilities as well. And so that's how my career has been. So basically learning, qualifying, and becoming a master at what I do. But what has given me more joy so far in the last 5-6 years is being able to now move these 20 years of experience in the field to training and empowering the next generation of FM experts. And it's been wonderful. In the last 6-7 years, I have trained an approximate number of 5,000-6,000 people. And that number keeps rising from year to year. And so I'm happy to be here with you. We have built a course content that covers end-to-end what you need to manage facilities in Nigeria, highly recognized globally because we have people who have taken this program and left the shores of this country and been able to represent themselves as facility managers and get good jobs as well with this. Currently, the program we are part of is undergoing accreditation by the International Accreditation Agency organization in the US, and IAO will soon accredit it and make it listed as part of the global programs for facility managers across the world, which will be a lot of investment from us, but exciting, because what that means is whatever certificate you get from Max-Migold becomes internationally recognized beyond the value we get from employers who acknowledge it highly in Nigeria right now. Okay, so, and for those of you who've been to the, of course, you registered on the course, you've seen the course outline, very extensive. And we have 2 or 3 sessions that will take us out on a field trip to go and see facilities, how they're being run practically as part of this program. And we encourage you as members of the class to, you know, come forward, invite us as a class to your facility so we can learn with you, teach with that opportunity, and get bigger exposure to the entire team. So you're invited to, you know, contact the admin team at the training center, Barakats, and book, you know, your facility for such a tour. So you can benefit beyond you, all the other team members you have on site as well. I'll quickly go into how the program is structured. The program is structured into 2 parts, 2 distinct parts. The first part is the teaching and exchange part, where we learn facility management, all right? It will run for 3 months. Many people in this class will finish in that, in this first part and earn their certificate of training, okay? The certificate of training is a certificate of comprehensive training from Max-Migold, which is a very highly respected certificate. You can go through 3 months of FM training and not be something different from what you were when you started. Now, this first part involves a series of assignments and assessments. They're very simple, so don't be too worried about them, but they will involve you studying, which means if you take a 2-hour class, you need to dedicate at least another 2 hours within the next 2 days to study and answer those questions, and make sure the answers come in before the next class. So after today's class, if there are questions at the end of today's class, you need to make sure those questions are turned into the website link, which will be given to turn in your assignments and assessments, and they must be in before the Wednesday's class. Every assignment and assessment expires before the next class. So by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the assessment and assignment for this class expired, right? And there are about 16 or so, you know, little bits of work that you do. The reason we put all of this together is, first, when you learn, for you to be able to sink in and settle in and practice what you have learned, you need to revisit it, and you need to have some level of rigor that expects you to remember, that expects you to reproduce, that expects you to write out, okay? So that's something that the program requires of you. So that first part is done in 3 months, and for those who want to progress to earn the FM diploma, because that's what the second part adds to it. You now have 6 projects. These 6 projects can be done in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, but a maximum of 6 months, right? So between 1 and 6 months. A project in asset registers, a project in condition assessment, a project in emergency preparedness and business continuity, a project in maintenance planning, a project in health and safety, a project in budget planning, right? So each of these are things you're going to do with a real life site. So it has to be done in a real facility. You have to have, either you already have the data that you will now amend and work with our templates, or you start afresh creating those facility information to be able to earn your diploma. Now, how do you get through the first part to earn the certificate of training? You will, apart from the assignment and assessment, you will pass an exam that is a 300 question multiple choice, all right, at the end of the 3 months. The exam will question all that you have read, all that you have heard in class, okay? So be ready to revisit all the videos, be ready to read all the materials again, and be ready to read wide, okay? So that's the exam. And the way that first part is graded is that you have 10% for attendance. So if there are 30 classes you must attend, if you attend all 30 classes, you get 10 points already, right? And it is prorated according to how many classes you actually attend. So that you don't think, oh, because the videos will be available, there's no need to attend classes. This is a formal program, okay? That's why we're getting international accreditation for it. We don't want to make it one of those training that you sit through and sleep through, or whether it involves, you know, any exam or test, you just get a certificate at the end of the day. Those can't be accredited, because once accredited, and you can now have FMD, FM diploma, after your name for earning this, then of course that means you put in the work and the efforts to be able to. So that's the first part. You do the attendance 10%. All the assignments and assessment, they make up 30%. So before you even approach the exam at the end of the semester, you have already done 40%. Okay, the exam is just 60%. Okay, but the exam is not to be taken for granted. I'm making this comment deliberately because I've had 1 or 2 mommies in my previous classes that came to reprimand me for not preparing them enough for the exam, that I made them feel that the exam was going to be too simple. And so when they now approached the exam, it now turned out to be, one said it was like JAM, the other one said it was like WAEC. But at least in both cases, both of them agreed that it was harder than all the university exams. So I just needed you to, you know, get a heads up about the exam, okay? But you know, don't worry. Just put your mind to this. Tell yourself you want to become a better facility manager, and you will not miss it, okay? So that is that about me, about the course, about the program arrangement. I'll give you a minute or 2 now to ask questions. Now, the rule of the class is going to ask questions. You use your Zoom raising hand function, and then I will ask you to unmute, and then you can ask your question, okay? I'll have 9 minutes altogether for this question and answers, and let's bring them on now. Thank you. Oh, nice. Everybody understands everything, right? So we can go on. Okay. All right, so time to tell us about yourself as quickly as possible. Who do I start with? Adegoke, can we start with you, please? Name, what you do, where you work.
Yeah, my name is Adegoke Abidogun. I work with Landmark Africa, and I'm a facility manager supervisor for that.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Toyin, please.
My name is Toyin. I work with Bui Construction Nigeria Limited in Abuja. Manager for the camp and also the facility manager.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Jude. Don't worry, I'll get to those who have their hands up. Maybe I missed it, but let's go with introductions first. Jude, go ahead.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Jude Okozi. I'm a special projects person working with IHS Nigeria in Lagos here. I'm really interested in learning more about facility management. So as I'm completing projects, I also know what to hand over to the facility management person or company that we take up after me. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Good luck.
Good evening, everyone. My name is volumes oil and the job role project. Also,
we didn't quite get that. So, can you put your introduction on the text? Your audio wasn't very clear. Just type it in, please. Bobaya, please. And please, for everybody, put two names. Put two names on your screen. Not just one, yeah? You can rename and add your full name, at least two names on your screen. So Bobaya and Shehu, you can have your second name there. We all want to be able to meet you whenever we see your face. Bobaya, please, your introduction.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Obaya Bamidele is my name. I work at a Notori Chemical Industry at Port Harcourt on air.
Okay.
I'm the facility maintenance coordinator. So I'm here to learn and to gain more skills as to be relevant to my employer and to other users.
Fantastic. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Blessing.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Blessing Udom. I work as a facility officer and a /concierge for Cobblestone Property and Estates Limited. Thank you.
Thank you. Tosin Rumide.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Rumide Tosin. I work with Raw Medical Resources as a facility supervisor.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll talk to Jude already. So Habib.
Good evening, Mr. Paul.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
You're welcome.
My name is Habib Roji. I'm a facility manager and I work at Central Bank of Nigeria. Thank you.
Welcome. Are you Lagos or Abuja?
No, presently I'm in Oshogo.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's fine. You're welcome. Hello, Ashina.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Okay, good evening. My name is Oluwaseun Alawa. Good evening, Mr. Paul. Good evening, class. I'm a facility manager. I manage Osun State Governor's Lodge, Abuja. So I just joined the class to have, to spread my tentacles, to be able to, get more jobs and all that. That's why I joined the class.
Fantastic. Well done. Ite.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Ite Envoy. I work myself Facility Managers Limited, based in Lagos. I'm the facility manager of Lagos City Mall, Oniko. And I'm actually here to broaden my expertise in facility management.
Fantastic. You're welcome. Elizabeth.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I work with, I'm a facility manager for PwC and health and personal care.
You're welcome. You must have all met Barakat. Barakat, please introduce yourself. You are the administrator of the class, so let everybody see you. Barakat, are you there? I'm sure many of you have had correspondence from Barakat. Barakat, are you there? Please show your face and let your class know you. She will be the one solving all your problems during the semester. Okay, while Barakat is getting on screen, let's meet Grace. Grace, please introduce yourself. You're muted. Grace, your name, where you work, what you do. You're still muted. Oh, what happened? Press your space bar if you're in a computer. Hold down your space bar and you'll be unmuted.
Okay. All right, can you hear?
Yes.
Yes, okay. My name is Grace Anyanwu. I work with Cooper Medical Center here in Lagos. I'm the facility officer.
Thank you so much. All right, Barakat, are you on screen now? You're welcome. Aha, so go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Barakat Steeman, and I'm the training manager for Max-Migold Limited. I'll be the one you'll be meeting in case you have concerns regarding this training, information, clarifications. Welcome to Max-Migold. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Barakat. Very hardworking Barakat. Edith.
Hello.
Hi, yeah, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, your audio is good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, your audio is good.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Edith Omos Saigye. I'm with Workmaster Facility Managers, and I'm the head corporate services.
Fantastic.
I'm here to learn.
Fantastic. Awesome. We had Udwa Godwin, right? So we're going to go to Attila Aremu.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Atilade Aremu Ajao. I work for First World Communities Limited. It's a real estate development company. I'm the group facilities and admin manager. Like the last speaker said, I am here to learn.
Fantastic. You're welcome, Atilade. The person that has Infinix Hot 9 as your name on screen will have to show your face, and then you can introduce yourself and edit your Zoom name, okay? Can you please come on and introduce yourself, please? Okay, let's move on now. Tosin. Oh, we've done Tosin already. We've done Jude, we've done, okay, Moses, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, Mr. Paul. Good evening, everyone. My name is Moses Adene. I work for UPDC, that is UACN Property Development Company, FM, based in Lagos, but I'm in Abuja here managing a facility in one of our locations. Thank you very much.
You're already based in Abuja right now. You can't be based in Lagos and managing Abuja. All right, Moshood. Moshood,
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Moshood Oyebode.
Okay.
I'm the manager at Agbara Estate Property Services Limited. I'm an engineer by training and a PMP holder.
Fantastic. You're welcome. Maranike.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Maranike Adeniran. I'm a business development officer at Max-Migold, and I'm here to learn.
You're welcome. Benga, please. Benjamin, take the mic.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, My name is Benjamin Daliop Mondi.
Okay.
Facility and contract manager with Sable Rapid Nigeria Limited, currently managing 2 facilities of JP Morgan Bank Nigeria and HPI Computers Nigeria.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Excellent. Okay, so let's hear from Michael.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Paul. Thank you for this second chance.
You're welcome.
My name is Michael Omole Ogedengbe. I'm a facilities manager. However, currently I'm in between jobs, not engaged at the moment. But I believe this course is a good step in the right direction for me. Thank you.
Fantastic. You're welcome, Michael. Michael Kolawole.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Bukola Michael. I work with Fmmc Limited as a property manager. I'm based in Abuja. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Mubo.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Architect Mubo Dodira. I'm the head of facility management at Aklan Properties. So I'm here to add more to my skills. Thank you.
Mubo, we didn't see your face, so.
What did you say?
We didn't see your face.
Because I'm driving.
Ah, yes. That is good enough. Neka. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Pleasure to meet you all.
Bit of a disruption from Neka's end. David, we'll go back to Neka soon. David.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Aturamu. I work with the Lagos Chamber. I manage the properties of the chamber. Thank you. The buildings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is this picture the same as your face right now?
Yes, it is. It is a recent picture.
When are we going to see your face as it is right now?
Come again, sir.
When are we going to see your face as it is right now? Can you put on your video for a moment?
All right, I will do that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, Tommy.
Hi, my name is Tomi Ogunyemi, and I'm a facility management for the Pro-Space Solutions in Lagos.
Fantastic. Thank you. Engineer Fisayo.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Fisayo Ademashao. I'm currently the General Manager for Max-Migold, General Manager, Facility Management for Max-Migold. We are here to learn at the same time to provide further support for everybody in the team.
Thank you very much. He's pretending to be learning, but he's going to be teaching as much as me in this program. So welcome, Engineer Fisayo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Titulakwe, please introduce yourself.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Titulakwe Olajide. I'm also here to learn, more importantly, to add to my field of hospitality and creative and event management. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I believe we have spoken to, okay, Timmy, let's give you a minute to introduce yourself quickly. Timmy and Neka, we can revisit both of you since we skipped you. And Shehu.
Hi.
So Timmy, if you are there.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Paul. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Timmy. I work with Harris and Bella Integrated Service. here in Lagos, and I'm a facility supervisor. Glad to be here, and I'm sure I'm going to learn and be a better facility manager. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Nika.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Network cut me off. So I was saying that I work with Landmark Africa Group. I am a facility manager / project coordinator. So I'm here just to brush up on my skills.
Super, thank you. Mohammed, I'm talking about Shehu now. Shehu, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Paul.
Good evening. Shehu, you are muted.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Good evening, colleagues. My name is Shehu Abubakar. I'm working with NNPC. I have been a maintenance engineer in the refineries, but currently I'm a production process and facilities engineer in MPDC, Benin.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Emmanuel Shuntade. Mara, you can speak now. Okay, so never mind. Are you okay? Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Emmanuel Shuntadi. I'm the facility manager of Benin Medical Care in Benin City.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. You're welcome. So we sent you a link to fill out a form for us to put together the class profile, right? We have about 30 people have filled it already. We want everybody to fill it before the week runs out. So we can have a proper introduction of everybody in the catalog that we'll share with all of you, okay? So please do that. And it also helps us to profile you for the kind of opportunities you are here for. Let me just give you some of those opportunities. When you take this program, you automatically have paid for lifelong mentorship in facility management. It's a once for life admission into that program. And that includes talent management, which means from your current role to your next role to the subsequent roles as you rise in this industry, we'll keep tab with you. And then professional development, which means from what you have learned now, as you add on them and gain more experience, we'll keep tab with you and keep following up with you. And finally, business support. So for those of you who are going to start one training organization, one FM organization, you have bids to submit, you want to do some inspections and all that, we provide all that support as much as possible, right? Why do we offer all of this in addition to your training? Because it gives us a win-win opportunity. First, we are able to teach with all the additional moments that we'll share with you. And secondly, so many opportunities for joint ventures and work opportunities and projects will pop out of these invitations to inspect and talk about the challenges you are facing. So we get to win more businesses and you get to get all the technical support you get for free as you move on in your career. So it's a win-win for everybody, okay? So it's not just about learning FM, it's about so much more, and that's what I've just highlighted. So welcome on board, everybody. Somebody wasn't called, and I think the person I just prompted me, Nena, right?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Nena Chiozia Kwanwa. Okay.
Welcome and what you do. That must be network. You're not frozen. You're not muted. It's frozen. So that's network. Okay, so to get past the network challenge, drop it on the chat. We have a few already on the chat, and just drop your introductions, your name, what you do, where you work on the chat, and we'll all see it, okay? Thank you so much. Thanks, Nena. Okay, I'm gonna dive straight into today's class. And let me just say one thing about a 2-hour class. The contents are always very voluminous. That 2 hours would be too short for us to have play truancy with some part of it, right? So what we have adopted as a policy for this class is that if you are 2 minutes late for class, you would have lost 2 minutes worth of live value. And it will be worth the while of everybody that are here exactly 5 o'clock. So if I were you, I'll sign up, I'll sign into class 5 minutes to 5, so you don't miss anything. Of course, you're going to get the videos at the end of the day, so you might think you won't miss much if you have to watch the video, but we're not going to be waiting for anybody to come into class because we have a short time to cover the content, okay? So I'm going to share my screen and get right into today's class. Okay, I believe we all see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right, great.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so that's a little bit about me. I had my MSc, University of Nottingham Business School in the UK. I've been an FM instructor for IFMA. In fact, right now I teach the FMP, I teach the CFM, I teach the SFP, I teach the FM learning system, I teach the essentials of FM for International Facilities Management Association. What this means to you is that the same level of quality and experience that goes into those international certification training that I handle is what you'll be getting from your investment in the FM Mastercraft Diploma. Okay, so that's a good thing. I'm chartered with virtually all the FM international associations, and I have all the certifications that are valid or valuable to an FM. And as you go on in this FM journey with me, you will be able to pick up these credentials one after the other, because I will prompt you. You will pick them up one after the other, and you will grow in the path as well. And some of you will end up being able to teach and being able to mentor others like I'm doing right now, okay? I can't be the only person in the industry. So we have put together a faculty of about 10 so far, and we want to expand that as much as possible. And we're building more and more courses to get more people into teaching FM. So please get ready. We're going to start with the introduction of FM. It's to help us understand basic FM operations, some definitions, and then certain skills you need to implement facility management. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at. What's FM? What's the history? The FM wheel, the scope of services, FM classifications, the relationship between building life cycle and facility management, service level agreements, key elements of the facility management, and strategies to foster operational excellence in facility management. IFMA defines facility management as a profession that encompasses multiple disciplines to ensure functionality of the built environment by integrating people, place, process, and technology. Some other writers define it as a profession that coordinates and integrates the physical resources and working space. That's Kurtz and Lee. And also, Choti Panik also says it's a profession that offers the services that supports the core business. In all of these definitions, you can sum them up to say facility management ensures the functionality of the built environment, integrates the people, the place, and the technology with the process of making the place useful for the people in doing what functions they have built or designed a space for, right? So that's like a summary of what these definitions are pointing at. So it starts with humans. What do we want to achieve in our lives? We want to work, we want to live, reside in some places, we want to play in some places, we want to rest, we want to be, you know, all kinds of functions. Once we define that, then there's a design process that creates the space. And then that space needs to be integrated to the human functions for which that space was intended. And that is what facility management does. So facility management is not a profession that makes a space fine, not just fine, functional for what? It has to be functional for the purpose it was designed and built, okay? So that integration is what we talk about when we say facility management. And there are quite a few other definitions. I will tell you that at the time you get through this program, maybe at the fifth or sixth class, you should be able to come up with your own definition of what FM is about, okay? So for now, we are telling you what everyone else has said facility management is. There is a definition that I would want to send across to you. I'll probably just drop it for you on your group chat. A definition that extends that that definition of IFMA to add the real reason. Okay, so it talks about the productivity of the people or the occupants or the users and the well-being of the users and the productivity of the business. Okay, so in providing functionality for the users, you are doing it because you want the business to grow and prosper, and you want the people to be healthy and having improved well-being. Okay, so that's important. FM started long ago. For as long as people have lived in spaces, facility management has always existed, from the cave days to the pyramids to men living in high rises, and all the way to facilities that people reside in space. FM has always been existent, but as a profession, it wasn't quite defined. It wasn't quite defined, all right? Because when we build, we tend to use that same mindset of the construction team understands what they have built, and as such, they create a maintenance team who will stay back to help to maintain. That maintenance turns out to be only one small, tiny speck aspect of facility management, because maintenance of the hard-built environment is one angle to facility management. It includes everything that will ensure functionality of that space, that will ensure the well-being and productivity of the individuals who use the space, and the profitability and asset value of the owners of that space, right? So everything we do, from security to catering to property services to support services and cleaning services, all add up to become facility management. So if you really look at the organizations that we serve today, you will find out that there's a clear distinction between what the organization does as its core business and everything else that is non-core. And everything else that is non-core forms the profession of facility management. Okay, so that's exactly the broad definition of what we do. So that's what we talk about the FM wheel that encompasses so many aspects. The aspect that will come to your mind quite easily and readily is operations and maintenance, but it's far beyond that. Projects is here, planning, finance and budgeting, auxiliary services, technology, management and leadership, because you work with people. You can't do facility management of buildings. In fact, you manage people more than you manage buildings. And that's what you're going to learn as we go on in this program. And that leads to all kinds of jobs within FM. So we talk about the FM being a jack of all trades and also a master of all. Yes, that's exactly that's who we are, okay? But within that profession, there are specializations, so many things you can do within that profession. And that's what we are also going to be learning as we go into the next classes of careers. Facility management services are broadly categorized as hard or soft services. Hard or soft services. Just by looking at this list, you can tell what a hard service is. They are equipments, installations, systems that are built into a building. So this make up the building. So electrical systems, fire alarm system, mechanical maintenance systems, ACs, energy, water, plumbing, and the rest. The sub-services are introduced into the building because of the people and what the people do in the building. So we also call this occupant services, cleaning, pottering, grounds maintenance, waste, security, catering, pest control, and the rest. And the design, service levels, quantity and quality of these sub-services will depend on who is in the building and what that person is trying to achieve with the building. So what are the core competencies? You want to become a facility manager, or you're already a facility manager, and you think operations and maintenance is what you do. It is 1 out of 11 competencies as defined by IFMA. You also need to be a good communicator. You also need to be a risk manager, be able to put together emergency preparedness and business continuity plans. You also need to be environmentally sustainable, energy efficiency and environmental conservationist. You need to be an expert finance and business person, because FM leads to much of the spending that companies do. And if you don't understand money and how money is coming and go from your business, you will be a nuisance to that organization. Give me to spend, give me to spend. That's what you keep saying. But you don't understand exactly how money makes an impact on that organization you'll be spending on me. So you need to understand finance and business as a core competence. Human factors, health and safety, ergonomy, all the kinds of effects that people bring in and that your buildings impact on people when they use their spaces. Leadership and strategy, being able to set strategy, being able to lead teams that you work with to see that strategy and work independently in that direction, being able to lead your building users to listen to you when you say we need to switch off lights and we need to do some of these things, requires certain specific leadership skills. Even being able to get approval from your bosses. I know a lot of that will come up in the course of this training. Oh, they don't listen to us, they don't give us approval. You will find out in the course of this training that you don't have leadership and you're not able to set strategy. That's why you're not getting approved. The best facility managers in the industry are always getting approved because they're leading their bosses. We'll talk about that later. Operations and maintenance is where you are. Most of us are always here. We know when this one is going down to replace it. We know when something is broken to fix it. We know how to buy. We know how to sell junks and so on and so forth. Project management, a key competence of facility management. And I hear all the time people say things like, oh, well, I'm a project manager by profession. I say, I'm sorry, project management is a skill and not a profession, because the professions require project management to execute various projects within all professions. If you're a doctor, you need to be a project manager. If you're an accountant, you need to be a project manager. If you're an IT specialist, software engineer, you need to be a project manager. If you are anything, you need to be a project manager. FM will not be exempted. You need to be a project manager. So don't get lost in that thinking. Even those in construction, you need to be a construction professional and then be a project manager to be able to execute construction properly. Quality, ability to understand, capture customer value, interpret, and comply to regulatory compliance. We'll talk about all of that as part of the competency of quality. Real estate and property management, this is a huge part of our work as FM. Not necessarily because we lead the built environment at that level, but because we need to understand what's happening with all these agreements and all these contracts, and need to be able to engage with the various transactions that take place in the built environment for us to be effective at what we do. And then technology. The world has evolved. We've moved from paper to logbooks, from logbooks to spreadsheets, from spreadsheet to softwares that were very basic for maintenance, to enterprise softwares today that now integrates with building management, building automation systems, and all of this we're going to be covering in this whole program that you're part of. So these competency areas are all covered in what you've signed up to. And then a typical building will go through a cycle. You plan it, you construct it, you operate it. At some point, everything has an end. It needs to be disposed. And if there still exists the need for what you use that space for, you need to redevelop, and then planning starts again. That cycle continues perpetually. As facility managers, one of the first tools you will learn about, unfortunately, this is not very common in most organizations, is the service level agreement. Every time an FM talks about service level agreement, he's thinking about the contractor. The contractor needs to give me a service level agreement so that I understand what they want to do. That is a lopsided understanding of service level. Service level agreement is established between you, the internal FM, and your building users. What do they need in cleaning? What do they need in such maintenance and such provisions of assets? You need to have all of those captured, defined into specific specifications, which includes scope of work, and then you take that out to contractors and you bid the job. So whenever anybody wins your job and comes on board to your organization to work for you, the person already understands what your users expect. You cannot go and create a service level agreement with contractors when your building users don't have any inputs into that service level. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to have at least 2 or 3 more courses where we're going to talk about service levels. We work with people. We work for people. I always say that the facility manager is not one of the ordinary employees in an organization. You are not. You don't come to work with others. You don't come to work like others. You come to work for others. You come to work because of others. The moment you understand this first concept, it becomes easy for you to reorient yourself and your team in what place you hold in the organization, because you are a strategic enabler of the success of that organization. And as a strategic enabler of the success of that organization, you must understand who in the core business is contributing to that success, and you enable them by providing them with the right spaces and services to ensure they can deliver on their job. And if anyone is going to rate you as a facility manager, you can have all kinds of rating. Your manager can rate you, the company could have some KPIs for rating your work. But if it does not include what the people who use your services think about your work, then that rating is not effective, because your work is going to be properly rated. Your performance, the final score you get for performance is determined by those who use your facilities. And so you manage perception. It's not just technical skills, it's more managerial. And I say this with a little bit of an emphasis, because I see a lot of adverts where I hear things like, oh, we're looking for an engineer this and engineer that to hold this position and that position in FM. Now, I see some of them even say things like hands-on HVAC, hands-on generator to be the FM. Now, in facility management, you move from the specialist level where you are handling one aspect, and that's where engineers hold sway, right? And then you move up to the generalist level where you become an expert in everything. You can't be a facility manager and tell your client, I don't know anything about AC, I don't know anything about electrical. And that's why our program is so comprehensive. You will need to learn everything, okay? A bit of everything will make you that master. And then we'll provide the place and the services to make those spaces functional. And then we work with processes. Everything we do in facility management is done with processes. And now with technology, you cannot overlook technology. If you don't build in technology into what you do, you will not be successful at it. So FM is not an exception. We call this the 4 anchors of our profession: technology, process, place, and people. They are the key elements that we. Let's start with one aspect of people, your manpower. Manpower planning consists of putting the right number of people, the right kind of people in the right place at the right time, doing the right things for which they are suited, and at the end, the organization achieving its goals, all right? For you as a facility manager, the tips you need to understand is don't wait until there's a vacancy. Understand your current manpower inventory and be able to forecast future manpower requirements. What does that mean? To be practical, I tell you what I do. I run interviews on a continuous basis, not just because I'm a recruitment organization, not because I'm a training organization, but because I want to be able to mobilize large projects at short notice. Now, that may be a large scale thinking, but at your level, if you manage cleaners, for example, and technicians, these guys don't have a lot of pride in what they do unless you help them and you make them feel motivated. They don't. They can walk away any day. What have you done to ensure they can stay? What have you done to ensure you can have a pool of people that will be ready to fit in to ensure your service level does not drop? Okay, that's some of the things you're also going to be learning in this course as well. Strategies to foster operational excellence in facility management. You need to start by knowing who your customers are. Clear knowledge of who your customer is or are and what are their expectations and service quality attributes is key to your FM success. I talked about service level and I said, you can't go and drop a service level agreement with the contractor without first having that service level agreement agreed with your bosses and occupants of your facility. It starts from knowing their service expectations. Okay, it's very important. Everything about how they want to be treated, everything about what level of service they require, what is their taste and dislikes, you need to. Expectations of customers can be everywhere. For those of you who are very experienced, I'm sure you can attest to the fact that you might have a bunch of customers who love the way you do a particular service, and then one day you wake up to one customer who doesn't like it, and you'll be wondering, so why is this customer so different, right? Your first blame will be that customer is weird, sad, this is that. Start throwing negative names at that customer. Think again, you are the one at fault. You have not taken time to understand customer expectations. It's even possible that some of those who have accepted that particular way you are doing a particular service in the past are just living with it or coping with it because some other person likes it. You need to understand each customer, no matter how many they are, okay? And each customer group. So if you have very large groups of customers, large malls, for example, large office complex, for example, then you need to create customer categorizations. The IT team, the guys in the reception, the guys in the legal room, the guys in, just get a sense of what their expectations are. Is it timely response to requests? Proactive approach to problem identification and solution. There are some customers that will be so impressed that as soon as they called you, you acted, they will clap for you. Some are calling you already with annoyance that, why does this person even wait for me to find the problem before calling you? Why can't you be proactive to do your inspections and pick things up? Have you been in a situation where there's a disruption, a service failure, and the customer comes up to say, oh, so I don't have power, or water is not coming through to my apartment or my office, and you say, oh, sorry, madam, sorry, sir, we are fixing something. Is that how that communication should go? If something breaks and you have to fix it, do you start fixing it first or you communicate first? If you plan to fix something or plan to do something that is routine, how do you inform your customers? How do you carry them along in the process? Because you can be doing the right thing in the wrong way. You can be judged poorly for not communicating properly. Do not overpromise. I say this with a caveat. Once you have a service level agreement in place, for example, the service level agreement says if there is a dead bulb in the office, it must be replaced within 4 hours. Do not overpromise simply means don't go saying something like, in 10 minutes, I'll be done with it. Only to find out that you don't have a spare bulb in the store and you have to go to Uche's store across the street or go to the market to buy it, and you came back at 3 hours, in 3 hours to come and fix it, right? You have overpromised and now you have under-delivered. Even within the SLA of 4 hours, you have a dissatisfied customer, right? So to under-promise and over-deliver means that you have established SLA and you tell customers, I will make sure I do everything that you need within that SLA. Okay? You're managing expectations. If you meet any hiccup or any hitch, you are able to deal with it. Your integrity is your major possession. It's something you must hold dear as a facility manager. You must avoid negative perception in your word and action by all means, okay? You can't say, I'm coming by 10 o'clock, and you show up by 10:05. You can't even say, I'm coming by 10 o'clock, and you call by 9:50 to say, it looks like I'll be late by 1 hour, when it was just 10 minutes left. That's integrity issue. You can have all kinds of reasons why you were delayed, there was traffic, Puno, Lagos, and all that, but I'm telling you, this is a killer of your career. Do not. Deliver your work on time. Respect, respect, respect. Respect is two ways. And the problem I have with respect in our industry is, one, we are not respecting our customers enough. We grade them and we respect the big ones, and then we under-respect the house helps and the rest. Respect should go across board. Second area is those that work for us, our contractor staff, our casuals, and people that work for us. If you treat them like they are nothing, they will treat your customers like they are nothing. They don't care about your customers because you don't care about them. You cannot tell customers that the cost you propose should be ideal for them at all instances, because your cost, if it is prohibitive, is a way for the customer to interpret your quality. Many of us think in the reverse. We think that when it is more expensive, the customer should feel that we're doing better quality. But for many customers, cost is a function of quality. And then you must have a professional outlook in your speaking, in your response, in your actions. For example, a customer calls you in for a meeting and is telling you 10 different things that you need to go and do, and you are saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Not a single notepad or pen to write anything down. You leave that room and the customer says, this guy is going to fumble. And that is exactly what you will do. And then have good housekeeping. Tidy up everywhere from your office to your work locations to the customer basis. You have to have proper housekeeping. Leave every space you enter better than you met it. And then attention to detail. You can't scope a job, come back and say, I found out that I need more. You can't. You can't scope a job and say, oh, this is no longer in the market. Please do your due diligence. Spend time to understand everything before you bring it on board. Okay, so that's exactly how FM should work. Facilities, the scope of services. Many of us are thrown in the deep end. You're sent to a mall and they tell you, this is the mall, manage it. And then there is no documentation, no asset register, no as-built drawings, no. And then some people just thinking and say, oh my goodness, I'm done for. This work is going to be the one that's going to send me to jail or, end my career. It mustn't be that. You need to start working on those data. You need to start working on relevant information to manage the facility. You cannot say, they didn't give me documentation and as such, I will manage it the way I like. No, you must gather the information. You must know your facilities. You must know the scope of services that you are there to manage. And then there must be service specifications. I tell you, because our industry is a new industry, people who have specific standards for doing things are very few. They must have worked in multinational organizations where such standards come in from abroad and then they can copy and paste. Without that experience or exposure, you need to be able to document certain specifications, simple things like work procedures. What are the key activities we perform? What are the steps we use in performing them? We might be very good at them. We might need to improve in what we do. But until you document them, you don't have a process in place. You don't have a specification. So it's not about having standard systems. No, start by documenting how you do what you do. If we want to improve those to become world-class standard systems, we start from what you're currently doing because you documented them. how you specify personnel quality. So people will tell me, oh, I need an FM. I'll say, fill this job order form where you list certain information about the FM you're looking for. And they'll be like, no, just find a good FM for me. There's nothing like that. You can't have something like a good carpenter or a good plumber. Those are, statements that don't mean anything. You must be able to break down, starting from what you expect from that service to the type of person who can do that service, what qualifications the person must have, and other features you understand that work will require. What kind of material standards, tools and equipment, health and safety. These are standards that need to be built into our operations. We take them step by step. It's not something that needs to be rushed or hurried, especially if you're just getting introduced to them at this stage. That's what we are here for, to learn through this program. And then you must be proactive. You must have a system for doing things. A client once told me once, he said, your FMs are everywhere, but they don't see anything. What came to my mind was very simple. If you walk into a space and you don't have a checklist that tells you what to check, looking around, you will miss more than 50% of the things you should check. That's reality. In fact, to some extent, the more inspections you do, the more you get used to things that are broken looking normal. Because you just go look. But if you have an inspection checklist that says, this should be like this, what does it look like now? Aha. Then you are doing proper inspection. So there must be a tool for doing it, okay? And you don't need to know everything, but I can assure you that everything we do in FM has been done before, has been documented, has been put online for free. If you have the time and you have the commitments and loyalty to your profession to want to research it. Part of what you're doing in being in this program is a commitment, right? So you can learn, and we'll make all our efforts to give you a full dose of what you will need, and then keep building on them as we go on beyond this program. Documentation. I've seen some facilities where the only thing they document is how much they spend on different things. You must know your occupants. There are some places I even ask questions like, what is the square meters of this facility? They don't know. How many occupants do you have? They are wondering. They'll start looking for what to check. What is the square meters of each occupant? What do the occupants do? How many people are in each of the spaces you manage? So if you had to give a head count for your entire complex, how would you produce that number? So many things you must have in place to say, I am managing this facility. If you get transferred from one facility to another facility, I go back to that facility where you left, and I look at the kind of filing and documentation you have in place, it tells me whether you're a good facility manager or not. When there are emergencies, how do you handle them? Emergencies need to be communicated, and the means or method of that communication needs to be agreed between management and occupants, okay? So everything from risk management, everything from health and safety, everything from how things are done in that environment need to be agreed upfront. But of course, it takes efforts over time. When you have a disruption, I asked earlier, do you just jump into fixing it, or do you communicate first? If you want to make the communication, of course, communicate first. But if you want to make the communication seamless, develop a little template that you can always just, in 2 minutes, fill into and share. That way, you pass on enough information to keep everybody calm. The worst kind of emergency reaction you will have is the one that you are trying to fix something and everybody is trying to get through to you at the same time. You will be a total wreck. So how do you get around that? As soon as it happens, what just happened? Why do we think it happened? If I know, if I don't know, I put it there. I don't know why it happened. If I know probably it was planned, probably it was not planned, it's a sudden breakdown, probably it was linked to something, I'll have to indicate it in this template. So what you see as outlines here should be made into a small form that you can put in WhatsApp, that you can put in email, that you can put in text message, and just, you know, distribute. Who is it going to impact? What's the potential impact? That one is there. Current action being taken to resolve the problem, initial indication of causes, estimated time of completion. Now, listen to the most important part of this disruption notification. Indicate when next update can be expected, right? Indicate when we are done, what updates we're going to give when it is fixed, and also let people know when it is finally resolved so that everything, we'll call this a closed loop. If you give information at the onset once, and you don't tell people when you're going to give the next update, right? What happens is that they will call you back and say, are you not done yet? And that will be disruptive to what you are doing. So when I'm going to give the next update is this time, and at that time I tell them when I'm going to give the next update and what I'm doing and what I'm going to give the next update. That keeps me in control. Health and safety. I do a lot of consulting. I do a lot of site visits. I get called to, you know, visit all kinds of sites, from banks to factories to hotels to hospitals. And I see this as one area where we really, really need to sit up in our industry. The basic HSE policy, HSE plan, is available in about 50% of sites. And then what are the basic tools for implementing the HSE plan? Your job hazard analysis or job safety analysis, which we use to identify hazards for every non-routine jobs, right? And then your work method statement that also identify hazards for routine job. And then you have your safety data sheets where you use materials and chemicals. And then toolbox talks where you hold meetings with your team to look at the work to be done and what precautions and tools and materials will go into it to ensure there are no disruptions and there are no issues. And then monthly and weekly meetings where you discuss HSE as part of it. The minutes of those meetings need to be in place. What about fire drills? Because when you develop an emergency preparedness plan, drills are one way to simulate that that plan will work. Do we have a report of drills? I think it's only about 50% of high rises too that have fire drills regularly. The old ones, there's a problem. But these things can be implemented by FMs if we just learn how to do them. Your first one might be done using a consultant. We can come in and help you set that up. And after that experience, you now have all the working tools to work with. And then you can run from then on. And then of course, PPEs and security. Facility management is an inspector's job. And that's the core of our proactive facility management. It's called management by walking around. You can't sit in the office to do facility management. It is not practical. In fact, my rule of thumb for the industry is you can't sit on your desk for up to 50% of your day. What should it be about? Blind spots is highlighted here. Feedback to the parties who are doing jobs. And then your customers tend to see that you understand what they are going through because you experience them firsthand. You have this one-on-one informal chats with your customers to hear them out and to see the things that they complain about. And then you can drive complaints down. And then you can have proper record of what's happening and how you can respond. And when they are being resolved, you come around. If your technicians know that they can be rest assured that you will not leave your desk, they can tell you a job is completed when they plan to do it tomorrow. So you can go ahead and place your work order if you want. So be very careful. Be on your feet every day, okay? So that's why when I'm doing some interview and I see some facility managers who are very fat, I just say, look, you know what? Don't worry about any other thing. This job, you are going to shred a lot of these fats because you're going to be up on your feet round the clock every day, 4 hours every day. That's a lot of exercise. There's no way you won't achieve the 10 kilometers if that's your target for being on your feet a day, because you are up and about. You'll be the best FM if you are managing by walking around. Maintain effective communication with your customer. Your customers need to hear from you. When I want to develop an SLA, I do a survey to understand what my customer needs. I build that into the quality expectation of the contractor. When the services are provided, I come back to survey my customers just to get a sense of how they perceive the services I have provided, and also hear from them on how I can improve. In between, I need to report to them regularly to say, this is what we are doing, and this is what how we are improving. And again, connection with them on a one-on-one level, where you know your key customers' birthdays and important dates, for example, and you can show that you are someone you're able to build personal relationship with them. Plan to execute right, and FM must plan everything you do. It's not enough to know what you want to do. Plan, to me, simply means writing down answers to basic questions about what you want to do. So what are basic questions? What do I want to do? What? One question. When do I want to do it? When? Second question. How do I want to do it? Time. Third question. Who will work with me on it? Who will I assign it to? Another question. How? Step by step to execute this activity. I have created a plan. If you spend time planning, which means documenting answers to these questions, you will execute more correctly, more accurately, with better results and outputs. And if you jump straight into it saying, we know how. The moment you jump into it saying, we know how, what happens is that many of the things you've oversighted that you not planned through will bump on you, and then you will get stuck and you start having excuses. Okay? The work you will do, the resources you will need, critical success factors for that work, failure factors. Just yesterday, I was going through a course on the pre-mortem, right? So whatever you want to do that's very important, assemble your team and ask yourself, how can it go wrong? I learned a lot from that course, you know. So I'm putting down success factors, which shows these are the things that I will see to indicate that we have done this well. Take painting, for example. I'll put something like, there are no stains, yeah? No stains on the skirting, no stains on the floor, no mess anywhere. Oh, fantastic. And then what are critical failure factors? Fumes left in the room, causing people to suffocate after we have painted because we did not air the place. Then no matter how well we have done that painting and how much people appreciate the painting, getting someone rushed to the hospital has destroyed all that effort. The risk, ties in here as well. How sources of failure shall be measured and reported, and how we recover if we make slips that leads to failure. And then everything that has to do with the right personnel, the right materials, the right tools, the right equipment, process and system that will go into the job, and how we're going to monitor this job to ensure it succeeds. So what kind of reporting are we going to have in place? By when are we going to expect it? Who's going to contribute information to this report, and so on and so forth. And if there are disruptions or discrepancies, how are we going to manage that within that activity? Quality management system, very important that we have. Okay, so when we talk about quality management system, we all talk about ISO, ISO 9001, 2015, and other ISOs for environmental, other ISOs for different aspects, even FM quality standards. But at the basic level, being able to have processes for how things should be done is the beginning of setting a quality management system. We identify the activity. We identify the step-by-step that leads to its completion. We identify all the resources, materials, tools, equipment that will go into each step. We've created a quality manual. If we can do that for every activity we're doing, that's the beginning. And then we begin to do health and safety cover. Okay, for example, every such activity should require certain analysis for risk, certain analysis for injuries, certain analysis for all kinds of health and safety concerns, and then being able to document results at the end of every work. So somebody has done a job and the customer is not happy. Are we able to, do we have a tool, a root cause analysis tool for saying what did we do, what did the customer complain about, and why do we think that was a problem to the customer, and do that, ask that why at several levels, maybe up to 5 times, and then be able to come up with a solution. After the root cause, we'll now propose solutions to each of the root causes at the base of that analysis, right? This is the basic form of quality management system. Now, all of these I've discussed about quality management systems are overlaid above the regulatory standard. So we have the building code. The Nigerian building code is available online. Please download it and read and understand what the minimum standards are stipulated by law. The code is enacted by Parliament, right? It governs us as the managers of the built environment, and we need to understand it. We have another class where we're going to talk more about the Nigerian building code and what we need to learn about it, right? But that is minimum requirement. Every time you hear about a code or a law always refers to what can be permissible. You as a facility manager need to operate above that. So if somebody comes to seal your facility today for a breach of the building code or any of the built environment laws, that means you are operating below minimum, right? So you can't have standards and yet operate below what the law says, okay? So that's very important that we learn. Okay, so this is when I'm going to open the class up for a discussion. Let's see, please, I had a couple of hands that were up at the beginning when we talked about the cost structure that I have not recognized. If your hand was up then and I didn't recognize you, please put it up again. And if you have questions at this time, please come up with it. All right, Moses, let's hear from you, please.
Okay, thank you for the course teaching. I raised up my hand when we started. I just want to know, I believe you talked about visiting a site, I think maybe practical or so. So I'm wondering, those of us who are participating virtual, who are doing virtual distance learning, yes. How do we participate in that?
Okay, that's good. That's good. Every time we go out to the field, we stream it live on Facebook. So that's exactly what we have been able to integrate. So anytime anyone is not in the location at that time. In fact, with COVID, we've had recent site restrictions for numbers. So some sites will say you can't have more than 10 people physically on site. You can't have more than 15 people physically on site. So we have used the streaming service to reach everybody in class while we are out in the field. But we encourage, we encourage class members to invite us to sites where they can allow, at least half the class. Typically, half the class, or a little bit above half the class, attends such outings normally. That answer your question, Moses.
Yes, it's well taken.
All right, fantastic. Okay, more questions from today's class. Today's class is really about how you can hit the ground running. The way we structure the program is we introduce you, we try to just change some few things quickly so that if this is the only class you attended, there must be some things you'll be able to implement from day one. And when we come to class next week, on Wednesday, a few of you are going to tell us, 1 or 2 ways you've applied what we have learned today. That's what we do in every class, okay? So be prepared for that as well. Yes, Nena.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to ask earlier because you mentioned that we'll be having 6 months projects.
Yes.
Like projects assigned to the class. So I was wondering if the 6 months project will be part of the internship.
Yes. Okay. So this is how it works. So you have between 1 month and 6 months to finish 6 projects, right? Okay. So if you are working in a facility, whether you are directly managing that facility or you just have access to that facility, you can go ahead and develop all of that project with that facility. You generate that data for that facility. Now we have some people who are either in between jobs or transitioning into FM who don't have a facility they are working in or don't have access to the facility. For example, I've had a security supervisor before on this program who did not have access to, do the asset register, do a commission assessment, do all that inspections in the facility. And he was looking to transition from security into facility management. What we basically do is we invite everyone in this category to look out for organizations where they can apply as interns too. We have about 800 organizations that are participating in our internship programs as well. What we do is we send your profile, and that's why it's important that we get your profile, everybody's profile in, to these organizations, and then they invite you for interviews, because even if it's an internship, nobody wants anyhow person in this organization. So you go to the interview and then you show them that you've learned something and you have value to bring to them for that 6 months period. And then you develop this project using their facilities while working full-time in exchange. During that internship, some organizations will pay you 50K, some will pay you 80K, that's their discretion. Some will pay you 20K, some will pay you nothing. Our expectation is that if you're serious about getting that experience into your CV, using these 6 projects we are going to give you in a live site, you should count that 6 months as part of your training, so that the expenses, you paid school fees, you keep on, you fed yourself throughout these 6 months, and you paid your transport throughout these 3 months, for example, continue for the next 6 months. Don't go messing up situations by asking for money because you are trying to gain experience. If you do those 6 projects well, after learning and passing this exam, there is no job interview for an FM in Nigeria today that you will attend that you will not ace. One hand. Okay, so that's the whole idea of the internship. It's for freshers, newcomers. I've had some people who are just finishing university. They've not even gone for NYSC. They came in, they did the internship. When the NYSC came, they found themselves in Lagos as well, and then they took up profitable jobs. Some of them, straight from university, are in their second job in 3 years, making a lot of money, okay? So that's what we try to open up for you. You find 3 places, and while we give you letters to take to them, we also place you in the pool for the companies we write to for the internship. And all of that is normally achieved within 1 or 2 months after the final exam on this project, on this program. And then you definitely have to have a place. But our experience in the last 2 years have been a bit of a positive surprise. By the end of our program, we hardly have anybody. Take, for example, we have 50 in this particular batch, and we probably have like 4 or 5 who are trying to use the internship. And by the time we have vacancies, not internship vacancies, I will tell them, go and try those opportunities in interviews. Just 5, 6 classes from here already puts them in the right frame of mind to ace interviews, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Man, your audio is vanishing. Can I hear you well? Raise your voice or something.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
It's coming out, okay.
Yeah, I said my question had somehow been answered. Because majorly what I want to ask is people who wants to move and change jobs. That's one. Then two, from this, some of your things you've said, I've been able to see a lot of questionnaires, as in maybe not questionnaires, some form of format one had to put in place, as in the place of reporting. In place of reporting, then maybe you talked about site meeting. You want to start maybe like a weekly meeting, what to put in place, and a lot of documentation. That at least I've gotten that clear from today's class.
Very good, very good. So what I basically do is, because everybody seems to want a template. So what I basically do is I'll ask you to come up with something in terms of what you want to do. You want to have an inspection template, create one. Let me see. I'll give you ways to improve it. Sometimes I can show you a few templates that I use with the expectation that you will be able to create something or have ideas to improve and customize to yourself, okay? That's how the program works. I will not give you a dossier of templates for things you don't understand. It's going to be as you attempt to implement any of the things you're learning using the templates you have, and you want to improve on it, and you bring it over for us to review and improve on it, okay? Habib.
Thank you, Mr. Paul, for the wonderful presentation. And I must commend this truly and high hope now. My question goes this way. Number one, please, what's the correlation or the interaction between FMD? You made mention of FMD, that's Facility Management Diploma, and CFM FMP. So
okay, we actually have a course. The FM career course will handle this in detail, but I can give you a summary. When you start as an FM, you want to learn everything so you can perform on the job, right? In the past, there were two ways you could do this. You could learn a little bit here and there by taking a one-day training, a one-day course online, 3 hours course online, go for a 2 days training here and there. And these things were available in small packets. So it teaches you a little bit. Or you could go from there to take the international exams, the international courses, where you have the essentials of FM. It's a 4-day program for 400,000. You have the facility management professional both from IFMA. It's an 8-day program for 1.1 million. And then you have the certified facility manager, which is a 3-day program for 1.1 million, right? These are gradations in FM. So if you start with the essentials, you move on to the FMP, you can take an SFP, which is specialization on the side, and then you move on to the CFM as you move up in your career. So in 15 years of an FM career, you should go to work your way up from the barest scratch to become a certified facility manager, right? Which requires substantial investment. And these investments are only getting higher and higher because our currency is being devalued. Otherwise, these international rates have remained the way they are for the last 15 years. So something that has been $3,000, $4,000, for example, or $2,000 have remained like that. But our Naira has, kept devaluing until it's turned into millions for us in our hands, okay? So, but what we have done in the FM diploma is to create a body of knowledge for FM in Nigeria, all right? And use international best practices to apply to solutions in our FM space in Nigeria. And we did this because we want to help people have low-cost entry into comprehensive knowledge and certification. Okay, so you start from here. And once you have gained this, it is now easy for you to now get the jobs that will help you earn the millions to go into the international certifications as you rise. Okay? So we are not competing, we are not comparing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
Yeah, another question, so that I can give other people a chance as well.
Sure.
Yeah, this question is as regard the site inspection.
Yes.
Yeah, and from the timetable I got from Barakat, I followed it, and from there he stated that the site inspection will come up like 3 Saturdays.
Okay.
So I just want to know, okay, for those that might be opportune to attend physically, what will be the time range? What will be the converging time? And
typically, it depends on the sites. Some sites will tell us come in the morning. Some sites will say come in the afternoon, right? So the location we are going to, we will work out the time to be there with them. We have 2-hour windows in any site that invites us, because they will take us through the operation. Take water treatment plant, for example. They will take us through showing us step by step what those water treatment plants and chemicals do and how they are loaded and stuff. They'll show us their records. Generators, they will take us through how diesel is loaded, how it runs from one point to the other. The generators, the parameters are being checked, the logs are being kept. For the air conditioning, they will take us through. Now, for most, and for all of these, the facilitator, the building service engineer that taught you the course in class is the one that is going to lead you in that practical session, because he will be trying to connect the concepts and principles taught in class with practice, how it's being done in the field. So typically 2 hours window on site. But I think in the past, we have been to some sites at 10 a.m. We've been to some sites. I think the latest time a site has given us to come is 1 p.m. so far, from my experience.
Okay, sir, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, we still have a few minutes. If there are any questions from any angle, from anywhere, from the work you do. So we have this practice as part of this training, solution sessions, where we ask you to bring up a work problem, right? A real problem you're having at work, bring it into the class. So write such notes down so that when you have these 3 minutes like this, we'll pop it in and then you raise your hand and throw it in, and then we can discuss it and solve it together. All right, so there's a question: what is the best path to be a CFM? CFM has a prerequisite. You have to be experienced at a senior management level for at least 3 years. All right, so even if you know all the answers, and you know all the FM knowledge, you need to have gained some experience. What the CFM exam does is that it takes you through series of scenarios, questions that test your ability to make decisions. And it's always looking for the best answer for a situation, not necessarily the right answer, because there will be multiple right answers and you'll be required to answer with just one correct answer. The correct answer will be the best answer, which may not be the only right answer. So it takes experience. It takes your ability to look at things from the big picture, high level, to be able to attempt the CFM exam. And unlike all the other exams that when you write them, if you fail, you can write it again in your bedroom and write again until you pass. You must pass every other professional exam. The CFM is a professional exam that is either written in an exam center or is written proctored, which means somebody in America or Philippines or someone in Liberia is watching you real time while you're answering the questions. And when it sees that you have been, faithful to the question as if you're an exam hall, then the thing assesses whether you have passed or failed on the spot. If you failed, it will require that you go and work for 6 months and learn again before you can apply again. So that's why it is top-end, highly regulated exam. It is the most unique exam in all of FM, and it is the highest level you can attain to in facility management. So that was from Ibukun. All right, let's hear from Blessing.
Good evening, Mr. Paul. Thank you very much for today's class. So, my question is, are we going to get reading material after every class? Because I understand you are going to send like a video for us to go through it, and I know about the sites seeing and all, but I want to understand if there will be like reading material sent to everybody after each class.
Okay.
Just to go through the day. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. What we do is that we send you the class slides a day to the class, and then we send you a link to the videos. We have a video portal where you can access the current video and previous recordings of this class. For example, you see this lesson I took you in 65, 70 minutes, for example. I probably have taken it for 90 minutes before, right? And the video is available in that portal. So if you go through FM fundamentals that class 13 took, and you take the FM fundamentals that your class took, you may find additional breadth to the information by just being able to watch 2 videos of the same class. So the admin team will ensure that you all have access to the videos, but there's a caveat. There's a caveat, and I need to spell this out here. They will only share videos with those who have completed their tuition payments. It is the only way we get those who are allowed to start the program with part payments to complete their payments. That is the only ace we hold, okay? So you won't get access to videos unless you have cleared your tuition, all right? So please understand that. Olufemi writes, yes, please go ahead. Unmute your mic.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm sorry, I came in a bit late, though. But my question basically is, what are the criteria for selecting a site for inspection? Because you sounded like the participants can actually introduce you to a site.
Oh, yes. We accept any site that is not too small. So you cannot invite us to come and inspect your bungalow.
Developed. That's what I mean, running.
Yes. Yes, okay. It has to be a running facility, right? We can inspect an estate. We can inspect a mall. We can inspect an office complex. We can inspect a recreation center like stadiums. We can inspect
about a certain part of the complex, not the whole building. About a certain part.
No, not all. So this is what we do. If we come to your site, before we come to your site, we already have predetermined the areas we will want to study with you on, right? So for some sites, we go straight for the air conditioning systems and the ventilation systems. For some, we go straight to the electrical and power systems and the water and plumbing borehole water treatment system. For some, we can even come in and, for example, if you are having a smart building, an energy efficient building, for example, we can come in there and review your entire BMS, how your BMS contributes to energy efficiency. So we can actually do that review by doing a walk around the whole building and then sitting down to a presentation from you on how your building is implementing sustainability measures.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. Fantastic. So I'm looking forward to Olufemi giving us his sites for inspection, right?
Just saying for now, though.
Thank you. That's noted. Barakat will
I need like an approval from my boss, you know.
I know. Sometimes it takes us up to 3 months to get an approval. In fact, the last class, because of COVID, we had to sign certain undertaking, right, to ensure that we were complying with the requirements of the site. For example, I did an inspection today's Monday. I did an inspection on Thursday last week, where you had to be vaccinated to come in, and it was ridiculous in Nigeria. But it's a multinational environment. There's nothing you can do about it. So we need to comply, okay?
I understand, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks. You're welcome. Yes, Edward.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Erubami, and also all in class. Please, I just wanted to ask, during the project phase,
Yes.
I would like to bring up a scenario. For instance, if I'm working full-time, is there any advice so that we could work toward it before the project time on how we could complete the modules and also get the best out of the project?
Specifically, what are you asking?
Okay, if I'm working full-time and during the project, I will need to be on site for a couple of a month to 6. And I'm trying to be in good terms with my employer so that I'll be able to have time to always visit sites and also get my required data. So what would you advise? Is it okay to always, is once a week okay to always visit sites?
I see what you mean. So you are working somewhere and you are not going to use that facility for your project. Is that what you're saying?
No, I won't be using it because it does not have it's just an office setting.
Okay.
Only work on site during contract based.
Okay, so it doesn't have the scope that will give you the project data, right? And
yes.
So you now need to work. So this is what we do. As some of our classmates will have very large projects, I don't expect somebody who is going to do asset register for a stadium to work alone, right? So what we'll typically do is we'll create we'll find those who are like you, who will be able to do 1 or 2 days every week to go to sites inspections and gather data to pair with such a person to support the workload, right? And all of you will be scored equally for the outcome of that work. But that's one way when we pair with our class members. The other way is you found a place where you can do that work for them, and they allow you to come in 1 day a week. That's at their discretion. So the arrangement between you and the facility owners or managers of that site where you made that arrangement. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I think option 2 will be fine.
More like it. All right. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. So let's hear from the last person, Michael Kolawole. Your question will be the last for the evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Many thanks for this course lecture we've received this evening. It's really an eye-opener and really, really grateful for the opportunity to be here. My question is slightly unrelated to what everybody has asked, but I'll proceed to ask regardless. What are feasible measures that can be put in place to collect service charge from defaulting tenants, especially in residential estates? It's straightforward with corporate organizations, but residential estates where you have multiple occupants, what are measures you can put in place to ensure there's no default?
Okay. All right. So I'll give you my own experience. I've not written a course on this, but I'll tell you. First, I design out defaults from the onset, right? Most times, FMs are thrown into the deep end. The estate has been built, you're not part of design, not part of construction, and you are now made to start trying to collect blah, blah, blah. You start struggling, right? If I meter everything and give you one card, that card will let water into your apartment. That card will pass you at the gate. That card will let power into your building. That card will do everything for you. Technology is simple. Nobody will talk to you about loading your card or not loading your card. That removes it completely. So that's the first thing. If it is possible to get back to the drawing board and say, how can we redesign our systems to build in these technologies? Let me first be clear with you, they are cheap. Some estates are being owed 200-300 million naira as we speak. In fact, I did some work for one estate. Just from power, they found one person that was owing 17 million by bypassing the system, and he has chopped 17 million naira worth of light in 8 years. That would not be possible if they had, at the onset, probably spent extra 10 or 20 million to prevent such things from happening. So it's penny wise, pound foolish. So even where you are right now, look at the value of the loss you are making, right? And then decide whether it is worth investing in those automations to make your life easier. And then we can talk. It goes into business at that level because we have solutions to make sure nobody defaults end to end in your estates. That's one. Two, you know, when there's so much excitement about selling the estates, the sales team will write all kinds of promises in the brochures and the sale agreements. If you are not there, promises have been made to people you are going to manage tomorrow. So they have been promised free light for 1 year. So they have been promised free water forever. So they have been promised free things that you know that will cost money. The developer is not going to put money down to do it. You must be privy and party to the sale agreement or the deed that is executed with property owners when they move into an estate. Because whatever is inside those agreements supersedes whatever management service agreement you're going to bring tomorrow. No matter how tightly written your service agreement, the sale agreement or deed is superior. Number three, many facility management companies take over managing such estates without having clear SLAs, management service agreements. I live in an estate where the agreement simply says you will pay 600,000 for this period, and it doesn't include this, doesn't include that, doesn't include that. And they spent almost 5 pages describing what the 600,000 will not include. And they spent only half a page saying that to provide everything else. And what that meant did not get interpreted to my mind. There was no penalty in that management service agreement for the FM company not delivering on its services. There was no penalty whatsoever. There was no way in that management service agreement to get you, the service provider, to maintain a certain level of standard and quality of life for your occupants. So what do you have? You now have a one-sided agreement that customers sign up to, maybe in a hurry to move into the estate or for some other reasons, and then before long, see that you are beginning to flop in your service delivery and begin to reduce their anxiety and enthusiasm to pay your service charge. Before long, your service charge debt begins to pile up. So your poor service is the first trigger for them to stop paying. One payment, one person failing, and with no penalties. Of course, your poor service had no penalties in the first place. You weren't losing money for your poor service, right? Because it wasn't even tightly written, right? So, and then one person stopped paying and no penalties. That's step two. And then others see that as an incentive to also stop paying. And before long, you can hardly get money from anybody. And then number four, what we are doing right now in estates is property management. Move away from that model where you tell people, this is how much we spend on this is how much we spend on that, this is how we divided it, this is your share. You are making a joke of FM. Your billing model right now needs to be completely revised. You are supposed to bill for services, and that services is tied to a service level. And when that client gets that service level, he pays that amount. It doesn't matter how much you spend to get that for him. End of story. I read all those lousy agreements you have all over the place where people are not asking, bring me the receipt for this, show me the transfer you made to pay salary, come and tell me this, come and tell me that. And they start negotiating 10% and 7.5%. You will just, your overhead and your stress will kill you and you will not make any money. And the worst part of it is that each person will take a share of the actual costs. Who will pay for those who are not paying or those who are in empty apartments? My dear, that is another topic. We are trying to write a course on it, but it's not FM actually. It is property management. And I hope we can develop something that we can bring forward to all of you. We're also trying to work on a program to have a tax consultant come to teach us about how to manage tax obligations of FM companies as well. The alumni is planning that, so we'll ask you to join them when their schedule is set up. And then when we have full cost material on this service charge issue, we'll also set up a date to teach it, okay? But for now, I hope is it 4 or 5 points I gave will be helpful?
5 points, clearly helpful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Atilade.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
Yeah.
In addition to what the last person said,
yeah,
there was something at our management retreat last year.
Mm-hmm.
The company was discussing about a new project that we are doing. It's a massive, almost about 40-something hectares of land that we are newly developing. And
massive.
So for every other department, the project team, the architecture, the engineering, M&E, everybody, they were coming up and talking about the timeline and everything regarding the new project, which has taken off this year. I had to call their attention and I made them understand that, there's a problem, there's something this company has been missing from inception. And that has been the bane of the problem that the company is having with tenant paying service charge. And it's a whole lot of headache for me, trying to manage about 5 estates. In fact, there is one of the estates that the people are saying they will not make any payment because they don't think anybody should be collecting. Meanwhile, the security are providing service,
yes.
The gardeners are providing service, a whole lot of other things like that. Now, I pointed it to the management, the senior management, and to the chairman of the organization. I said, the problem with what we are having with residents is because FM has been eroded as a standby, a byline department in this organization. I pointed it to the head of project and I told all of them, with a whole lot of big people around. I said, in all the outlines, the plans that has been outlined, there is nowhere that the role of the FM from conception till end of the project, there's no role for the FM. And at the end of the day, you now want the FM to provide magic. I said it doesn't work. The FM has to be part of the conception.
Yeah.
To have input in how do we generate revenue from the start of the project.
Sure.
Just the way you've said it. All we need to do is just give the residents signing up just one card. With that one card, if you default in anything, it affects you from even entering your house. Your line is off the phone for anybody to have access to you. Yeah. So we as practitioners, we need to stand for what we do and let our our project owners, we should let our project owners know, you've employed me for this reason and you need to take my whatever I tell you, because at the end of the day, you want to derive revenue. Even after you sold the property, you want to derive revenue through FM. So if you don't put certain things into place, at the end of the day, it negates and it affects and it becomes a whole lot of headache. But if you put in all those strategies in place, how do I take this man off light? How do I take him off electricity? How does he not have access? At that point, everybody knows that, wow, we are working to make money and providing the service becomes easy. The revenue generation comes easy and life is easy even for the project owner. That's what I want to chip in. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very good. Now see, Asilade, we as a young professional in the built environment are coming on into this meal, this dinner late, right? For years, we're not even represented at all, right? And now that we are coming on, we have ended up on the meal table, on the dinner table, as part of the meal, not as part of those who are eating the meal. And that's where the problem starts from. Now, we have several courses in this program where I'm going to open your eyes to ways you can elevate the profession and be listened to. Right now, we are still not being listened to, and we cannot fight it, we cannot force it. There are certain level of professionalism we are going to bring up, a certain level of leadership we are going to implement, integrity, competence, and then being able to lead the people who make decisions that we're going to implement over time as we learn on this program, that will make their ears always open to us. And then we're going to learn how to put proper analysis. Because it's not enough to just use mouth to say, listen to me, listen to me. No. What type of analysis have you produced in the past? What kind of data do you have to support what you are saying? Start from there. And then, what kind of leadership have you exhibited? If people are always concerned that anytime they listen to you, they will lose money, or every time they listen to you, you will earn money extra into your pocket, be rest assured they won't listen to you much. If people are always concerned that every time they listen to you, they will make mistakes, they will not listen to you much. There are so many things that keep us down. So the hard work to get us to that point where we are now being listened to, ladies and gentlemen, has to be done by each and every one of us. And the first step is what you have taken by being in this class. Even at my level, I still go to organizations who I'm trying to help from design. I mean, think about it. Somebody has a 300 square meter flat, which is supposed to be a very, very fabulous space. And then I go in there and I see that they have turned the whole place into strips of corridors and useless spaces. And then functional spaces are missing. The bedrooms are narrow and looking funny. And then they tell you, come and pay 85 million. I say, who will pay this? Who is dumb enough to pay this kind of money? You won't sell because you didn't listen to the FM. The FM understands what people want to achieve in a space. Where am I going to wash my clothes? When I cook, where am I going to put my stuff? Where am I going to kill a chicken, for example? Where am I going to wash things down from? So many things that we understand. These people are designing crap and just building. You're not there. But do you know what? They will still not answer you unless you have data. Take, for example, in the past estates you have taken over, have you documented how many times blockages in drainage pipes has been created by poor design, 90-degree angle bends in drains, for example? Have you documented how much it costs? How many times have you cataloged how much it costs to service air conditioners that the ACs outdoor units are pinned to the body of the building outside, that you have to use high-level scaffolds or mechanical systems to reach them every 3 months? How much have you documented as the value loss for those design failures? Those are the facts you bring to the table to show that you know what you are doing, okay? That is the beginning. Data, analysis, leadership, professionalism, and integrity, okay? Thank you very much. Our time is up for this class, and I want to tell you, look forward to Wednesday's class. Write down your questions, and please, whatever you have put to use, kindly be ready to share it with us at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.